So these are hip thrusts, so what we'll do here is we're going to do 1.5s. So we're going to dip down like a normal hip thrust, all the way up, then halfway down, and then all the way back up. So this will focus on the top of the movement a little more of the full contraction. We're not training super hard because it's her peak week right now, so we're just kind of hitting glutes first to start off the week because her show is Friday, so we'll be basically training glutes a full week before the show. One reason I like to do that is we store more glycogen in that muscle group just because we don't deplete it later on during the week when we train it later. She might do some very, very light pumping, but nothing like a full workout, and I would dare to say this is not that full of a workout today. Smith squat, but I also like to call it a vertical hip thrust because that's essentially what we're doing here. Now, one reason I like to set the benches up like this, it allows her feet not to be smashed into the ground. So it allows them to be free at the bottom. You can see now she'll be able to actually sit on her heels all the way, and now she's gonna push up, and basically all she's doing is using the femur to push down, and that's activating the entire glute by just pushing the hips through. So a lot of people that tend to use their hamstrings when they're doing hip thrusts, this is a really good way to take that out of the hip thrust. It's the same theory as a horse. So we're going to actually pose Brittany today and kind of look at her physique. You've had how many meals in?
I have one left. So
one left?
1, 2, 3, 4. Had 4 meals.
So this is going to be basically close to as full as we will see her, but we might add food tonight. So this is where like we can start making changes to peak week. Come on. Come here. All right. So we'll go ahead and hit your front pose. Perfect. And we'll transition to the back pose now. Glutes are fuller now, which looks good, and face front. I really like this step because it puts people on more of like a judge's perspective. Very good. I say she's a 10, but he's kind of harsh. He said a 9 because he likes spawns. You know, doing like maybe some band work or something backstage will be really helpful. Just kind of put the stuff around your ankles.
Okay.
Yeah. Now you look great.
6 days out from Junior Nationals in Chicago. This will be my second time there. I started competing last year. My first show was Pittsburgh Pro. I repeated that this year. Got some feedback. Need to come in a tad tighter. In my opinion, I was a little too fluffy on stage. But we're really dialed in now, and I have a good feeling about this one. So we'll see. We'll see what the day brings. So last year I did 5 shows. Pittsburgh Pro, got nationally qualified. I did Kent State, which was North Coast, Chicago Junior Nationals. I did Universe, NPC Universe, and I also did USA's.
Yep.
USA's out in Vegas. And then I hung it up and needed time to get fuller glutes. That's all I kept hearing. So took an off season, got fuller glutes, and now we're back, and hopefully we'll get the job done this time. There's nothing bad to say about Adam. I come and see him once a week. I live 3 hours away, if that tells you anything. I put my time and effort into this, and so does he. Every time I come here, he's constantly working, constantly emailing. He's up till 3 doing peak weeks. Like, he eats, breathes, and sleeps this sport, and puts all of the time and effort into me and to all of his clients. I think that's what I love about Adam the most. He's always on top of things. He never leaves you in the dark. I can ask him anything and he knows the answer. You know, I don't really have a struggle with prep. The way my macros are, I do macro counting dieting, flexible dieting with Adam. I can eat what I want, but I'm on a budget pretty much. I get my numbers and I have to stick with, you know, in between those numbers and not go over, not under. He messes with them, you know, every couple weeks, or if we need to tweak something, which is nice. I'm not eating just chicken, rice, and broccoli, which I know a lot of people like to do, or, you know, that's what their protocol is, but with Adam, I mean, it's, you eat whatever you want, but stay, you know, in your numbers. So that's, flexible dieting is, to me, the only way to get through prep without being miserable, pretty much. I don't feel like crap, you know. I have a lot of energy. Yeah, there are some weeks where I feel, you know, more fatigued than others, just because I know I have to push myself. But know that there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and that's the stage.
Let's get this party started.
Cheers.
Yes, perfect.
We actually got linked up, if I'm correct, through Rachel, your friend, who you worked out with, and she was kind of my problem child at first. I had a hard time getting her to track, but like every 3 weeks or so, I would get an email from Brittany Hamilton, and the conversation stayed the same. We got to get all these days filled up in this weekly summary chart. And it was kind of funny because, you know, I'll never give up on a client. I knew she had potential to achieve the goals that she wanted to achieve, and those did change for a bit. It went from competing to maybe losing 10 pounds and then back to competing. And it was funny because we finally got a chance to like connect on the phone, and I was driving to a show. Her phone died.
Yeah.
So I was still driving. My phone was about to die when she called me back, and she has an iPhone too. So it took like 20 minutes for her phone to power up. She called me. My phone died, like 5 minutes into that conversation. So I had to finally get home to charge my phone, and then we finally complete our conversation after, I swear it's only a 20-minute conversation, but it took us 2 hours to complete it. But it ended with, I'm going to do this. And me as a coach, you know, I think we only had 10 weeks till Pit Pro. It was short. I was like, if you do this, we've got to go now. And at that point, I felt like I knew Brittany in a sense where I have to show this girl a ton of progress up front. So I actually cut her macros pretty hard because I didn't think she could be interested or engaged unless I showed her some really fast progress up front. And I think when you lost that initial 6 pounds in 2 weeks, it was game on.
So I live about 3 hours from here, and I drive down once a week to see Adam. It's just a good time for me to actually, you know, change up my routine. I look forward to coming to see Adam because I know we'll do in person like we did posing today. I love his gym, even though it's small, but you get everything you want out of that gym. Like if you want to do any exercise, you're gonna get it out of that gym. And I love coming down here and working out with different people. He always has different clients that come in and out. You never know who's gonna be here. You get to work out with your teammates. He has a good relationship with all of his clients. Very positive. If you ever feel like you have a meltdown, he will definitely give you a call and talk you off the ledge. For you girls that are out there that don't have a coach near you, I would highly recommend doing more videos than pictures because they can actually see your movement, what's going on with your body. Because sometimes you can do a still shot, but you're really just sucking it in really hard. But what if, you know, like on stage you're actually moving like you're supposed to, and you might, you know, be a little, you know, too more water, whatever. Yeah. But I would highly recommend doing more videos as your posing routine and check-ins.
When someone's willing to drive that far to see you, you know that they're serious, and that really means a lot to me. And I always will make sure Brittany gets like a lot of value out of coming here because I know it's just not across the street for you. So, and oftentimes she has spent the night here, and that's always been great. And like you and my wife have gotten a chance to connect. My wife loves having the girls over because it makes her feel more a part of what we do. I always say when you work with See You Later Leaner, you can make this whatever you want to make it.
I've never been so ready in my life. Like, I wish the show was like tomorrow. For me, I'm actually a little stressed, like that I hope I can hold this physique, if not get a little better, which I think we will. Yeah. But I've never been this ready. Like usually you're like, oh well, I'm gonna tighten up a little more. I gotta do this a little more. Like no, like I'm ready now. I want to go on stage right now. What's great about Adam too is you don't have the same peak week. Like it's what your body is, you know, way it looks right now, and then there's no cookie cutter peak week. I don't have the same peak week as say my friend Alyssa. Like everyone's different. He puts time in every single one of you, so it's not just hey, eat chicken and rice, or hey, these are your macros, just the same as my other client. No, it's tailored to you.
The whole prep's been really different for you, so therefore the peak ended up being very different. And actually what we thought would happen in these last 2 weeks, I would say kind of didn't happen in terms we would try to elevate carbs, and it just seemed like you were a little resistant to it. And just now her body's assimilating that a little better. So we were pretty conservative with her peak, which is way left of what we did last time. But if I did the same thing every time, like I'd absolutely be out of a coaching job. And like it's great when you've coached someone to the point where I feel like you see it too, and when you got that peak week, you're like, yeah, this is really appropriate for me right now with where my body is. And if I'd sent you what we did last year, you'd probably tilt your head a bit and be like, what?
Yeah, I would be really nervous.
Yeah.
My peak week for Universe last year was
Way
different because I was actually behind on carbs because I was on an antibiotic, and I got off the antibiotic and we didn't know what my body was going to do because I'm not really good on antibiotics. I tend to hold a lot of water. So as soon as I got off that, like, I dropped, and we were being conservative, and then we couldn't almost catch up, but it was the tightest I ever came in because we actually loaded Friday night, and I had 3 pieces of pizza on Saturday, and like walked on stage, and everyone's like, wait, you're eating pizza? And I'm like, yeah, just watch me work.
And people wondered, like, what was the pizza for? Why so much food? That pizza actually wasn't a lot more food than what she normally gets. A lot of that was for the sodium value of the pizza, and having a little bit of fat just to make sure that you wouldn't dissipate into some more flatness. But yeah, definitely a different approach. Not something I do with many people. I think we had like 2 people sign up with me that weekend because they had hoped that they would probably get pizza on their peak week too.
Adam on show day is right when you wake up, you're sending your first morning shots. As soon as you get to the venue, he's right there. I mean, you're posing with him. He's making sure you're drinking water. You know, if you're behind on something, he's like, yeah, you need to start drinking water. He's always there, and always paying attention to detail. That's what I love about him too. If there's something off, because your mind sometimes wanders, and you know, you get lost and you forget, and you're like, what am I doing? And he's like, hey, you know, you gotta stay on your water. Did you have your meals? Like, he's always on top of it. Even if he has 12 girls there, or however many, he's always on top, because I mean, we're sitting there all together as a team. So we all run through our routines together, looks at every single one of us. But like I said, attention to detail is key backstage, and he does a great job at that.
I never really turn off, do I?
No.
You could
I don't
not
know when
even
he sleeps.
You could not even think I'm looking at you. I might come over and say, hey, like, when was the last time you had anything to drink? Because, you know, like, if your veins go away, I know that she hasn't had enough water, because that's a lot of her blood volume. And, you know, if I notice that, I want to catch it now versus trying to catch up later. So I want to try to always look as close as we can look on stage, unless I'm going to make a big move, and then timing can be an issue. And I'll let somebody know, like, hey, I think we're going to add a really high amount of sodium here, but let's not do it now. Let's do it about 20 to 30 minutes out from stage or something like that. So it's cool. Show day is the funnest day for me, because I really, there's so many factors that are changing, temperature, just stress, and I feel like that's where I really shine, is I have a really good calming effect on people, and I think keeping girls calm on show day is very difficult. Guys aren't that, you know, they're fun to peak because there's different variables with guys that I kind of like for that. But I think the mental sanity is just like huge with women, and I do enjoy that. And I do enjoy, you know, just trying to make everyone look their absolute best on show day.
There are some shows that they do not allow coaches backstage, like Junior Nationals.
Yeah.
So he's always on the phone. I mean, text, pictures, video.
And what we did last year, if you remember right, the girl that went before you stayed back and got a photo before you went on stage. So we had like this organized roll call where everyone helped take photos for each other before the next girl went.
Yeah.
So I was able to see everyone, like literally probably 20, 30 minutes
Yeah.
before they went on stage.
But I mean, if you have any questions, never hesitate. I mean, he's always there. So I feel really comfortable with him always backstage. I haven't been to a show without you.
I know. We hope that never happens.
Yeah.
I always want show day to feel like a wedding day for somebody,
Yeah.
and most importantly, like make sure they feel like they're not alone, because there are girls who will be from our team, and then, you know, Alyssa was in Florida by herself, so I
Yeah.
wanted her to feel like I was virtually there without being there, you know. I think one of the coolest things was going to Olympia together, and you know, that is the dream, right? For everyone to make it to that stage, and like somebody that takes it as seriously as she does, to like sit next to her and experience that, really took that to another level for me as a coach. And you know, watching finals together, seeing a new Mr. Olympia crown, seeing, you know,
The crowd went nuts.
yeah, it was epic.
crazy.
And I said, you know, just to take someone that far would be amazing. And again, this is something anyone can do. Anyone can come to the Olympia and hang out with us. A few girls
Yeah.
met us at I forget what was that bar called. It's got the crystals everywhere. It was by the egg place.
Yeah.
What
I
is
don't
that
know.
place called? It's slipping my
The
mind.
Chandelier?
The Chandelier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because there's chandeliers everywhere. But
Yeah.
there's the place called the Egg Slut. If you're ever, is it the Cosmopolitan?
It was the Cosmo, yes.
Best eggs. I mean, they dumped like a pound of butter in there. We
Yeah.
saw them make it, and we're like, well, this is not healthy, but
Yeah.
we're gonna eat it anyway. But yeah, Olympia was great. I've never been to Olympia. Like, I was blown away.
Mhm.
All the talent there, and actually seeing these girls in person on stage was like a dream to watch.
Working out tomorrow, right?
Yep.
And then she's
Cardio.
here till Sunday, actually. Yeah, just kind of doing that. We'll probably go over your show day foods before you leave Sunday.
Yeah.
I'll have a couple days to kind of see how her body's responding to food and how many meals we might want in before prejudging, and that's definitely important. And what better, since she's here, I'm like literally seeing exactly what she's eating, not just what's in her MyFitnessPal.
Yeah,
So,
that and you know, seeing how my body's reacting to food throughout the day. That's why he likes to do check-ins morning, midday, and afternoon to see how many meals you have in and see what your body looks the best at. I mean, some girls, you know, no food. You know, maybe if they're not tight enough,
Mhm.
it might be just no food going out. You might look good all morning. Or it might be a girl that has 2 meals in that looks her best. Or it might be a girl that has 4 in, like
Mhm.
the fullest, and looks her best. So that's what's nice too. Throughout the week, you send 3 groups of pictures, just see how your body's changing with the water and everything. So it's nice to actually be in person and do it.
that Visionary's coming tomorrow for a pool party, so that'll be cool because Brittany kind of gets adopted on board with that this
Yeah.
weekend. Mikey D will be here, so we'll all probably be pretty exhausted after the party. The party might not stop because Mikey D's
Yeah.
coming, and then we'll touch base on Thursday when I get there, and you probably get there Thursday as well.
Yep,
So
because check-ins are Thursday. And then kind of relax, go from there.
yep. Thanks for tuning in and following Brittany's journey. We're going to have 12 people on the national stage in Chicago, so this is going to be a really important weekend. So this is
Yeah.
just one of many people's journey, so make sure to tune in.